Fritz, my Battletech brother, builds me a competitive Battletech list. That's what we're going to explore in this Vlog Tactica. And I'm stepping out of my comfort zone. I'm stepping out of my player personality. I'm going to do something a little bit different here. And what I mean by that is if you've been following my Battletech vlogs or my channel for a little while, we're doing this wargaming thing. I want to win. I'm going to give you a good game. But I also want to step out of space and time. You and I sitting down to play a game, I want to make something memorable happen. I want us to have a great time playing. And if there's a chance to take that tabletop glory, I'm going to go for it. It might not be the best tactical move. It might not be the safest tactical move, but you can't put that glory in front of me and not expect me to take it, right? Glory to my house. Absolutely. Also with Battletech, I find there's never enough battle value. There's so many different mechs and machines and things that I want to play. The quirky ones, the good ones, the not so good ones. I want to make that rotation in my collection and also exploring the narrative. Sometimes you find the craziest mechs in the craziest of places. But we're going to put all that aside, tap into the Battletech knowledge here, and build a rock-hard, brick-to-the-face type list. And of course, in the comments, my fellow mech warriors, you guys are going to help refine this and make it even more deadly. Okay, first, combined arms. You want truly deadly combined arms, not only to get more battle value saturation on the table, not only to give you lots of different initiative and options, but by playing combined arms, focusing on that, there are some things that mechs do very well. There are some things that vehicles do very well. And there are some things that infantry do very well. By bringing those three streams together, you are plugging weaknesses of the individual units and building on the strengths of those other units. And while certainly mechs, the Knights of the Realm, are the stars of the game, look, that's not that far out of the narrative. Combined arms is very much the Battletech universe. And I would say most of the engagements will involve combined arms or vehicles and infantry heavy with a kind of sprinkling of mechs, just given how rare things are. And likewise, vehicles versus vehicles and infantry versus infantry mixed in would be more commonplace. So combined arms, mechs, energy mechs. Now you're going to scale this up and down based on battle value. You've got 3K, you've got 8K, you've got 12K. Energy mechs, 99% of the time. There are a few mechs that break that exception in each weight class because the firepower they bring combined with something special I'm willing to overlook. Perfect example for light mechs, the Jenner. The thing is a beast. It's fast. It's got a brace of medium lasers. Weakness, potentially, that SRM pack. I mean, it certainly packs a punch, but missiles makes it vulnerable. That kind of cancels out a little bit, vulnerable to an ammo explosion. That kind of cancels out a little bit because it's a light mech. By the time things go internal, you're already falling apart anyway. But on mediums, heavies, and assaults, energy-based mechs. What this means is you are cutting down ammo explosions when it goes to internals. You're able to potentially really push the heat much more when it's needed. Some of us don't always go as high as shutdowns. I'm regularly pushing it that high, but we don't have to worry about ammo cooking off or other crazy type stuff from that perspective. But mainly to limit yourself, to negate yourself, to completely remove those ammo explosions. No ammo. Energy-based mechs. You might have to go into some variants, and there are some potent variants. Fritz, I want to play a Marauder. I regularly play the stock Mad. I like it. It's a fine mech. Has that vulnerability. There is an energy-based Marauder. There you go. In refining that and exploring that, energy-based mechs that are zombie mechs, Battletech terminology, the arms in each weight class are often the weakest part of the mech. If you have a primary weapon like a PPC or weapons in the arms, they get blown off, you lose those weapons. Zombie mechs are mechs that have weapon locations left torso, right torso, center torso. What this means is you have to put that mech down to destroy it. The template to look at, I mean, take this mech, absolutely. But the template to look at is the awesome, the stock awesome. It's got the PPCs. You blow off the arm. It still has left torso, right torso. It can push the heat. It is not limited to ammunition, and you have to put that mech down. So I don't want ammo. Fritz, what about LRM support? We're going to get to that, right? I mean, I regularly play archers, longbows, dervishes, but if we're talking pure competitive, unlimited C-bills, getting the most out of that battle value, we'll get that elsewhere because it's more efficient and less of a liability. So energy-based mechs with very, very rare exceptions and looking at zombie mechs. So now we move to tanks. With tanks, this is where we're going to look to stock up on focused redundancy. Focused redundancy is where I don't have a tank that has like 3 or 4 different weapons. It has a primary weapon-based system that is going to look to deliver it. Perfect examples, almost auto-include Saladin hover tanks, autocannon 20. Push that Tactica up to the Battletech playlist if you want to check it out. PPC carriers, the Shrek, pushed that up to the Battletech playlist here on the channel. The Shrek has the 3 PPCs. Armor is so-so, mounted on a turret. What you buy in for battle value, so you're leveraging 3 PPCs. You're essentially leveraging an awesome. You can fill your ranks with awesome mechs, and you might want to have 1 or 2, but looking at vehicles and saying, where can I get the battle value buy-in for weapons platforms that if found on a mech would be a lot more of a weapons and a battle value buy-in. So very, very focused vehicles, because vehicles generally cost less battle value in the Matrix because they're subject to motive hits. They're not as mobile. There's some penalties depending on what you're moving through. You offset that by the fact that you can take the same weapon systems for a lot less. So I can back up my energy mechs with these. Now, I would say long-range missiles, maybe even short-range missiles. An Lrm Carrier as a vehicle is pretty pricey. The stock Lrm Carrier, you're getting 3 Lrm 20s. It is very vulnerable. It doesn't have a turret. It's tracked, so you want to make sure your firing arc. If you get shot at, you're in a lot of trouble with it. But again, looking at the battle value for what it brings, this is where the dividing line is. I'm not putting those LRM packs in mechs and now dealing with ammo explosions, ammo maintenance, mixed weapons. I want to farm that out to the vehicles. So you can have LRM carriers or baby LRM carriers. There's a couple of hover tanks that work that in the same capacity. Stocking up on those. Sub possibility, maybe field guns. I would save that for battle value last, or if you have the miniatures or want to explore it. Infantry, absolutely infantry. Breaking this up into 2 classifications. Mobile infantry and APC infantry. Mobile infantry, you're going to want at least 2 Karnovs. Pushed up the Karnov Tactica to the playlist under Battletech here. Low battle value buy-in, absolutely. And for some reason, if you're not playing the Karnov as a transport in another game, then you could take the AC-20 version for the lulls. You put infantry in there. They're going to get to dominate certain parts of the battlefield. They're going to be able to get into position. They're going to act as spotters. Low battle value buy-in. You're also going to want some stock APCs with infantry to get up quickly. You want everything mech'd up so it can keep up with your tanks and your mechs. The question here is, depending on the battle value, do you want a dedicated APC or do you want a fighting APC? An example being like the Goblin. But now we're getting a little bit higher into battle value. You are going to take a screen of infantry. You're going to have that infantry to be able to support your mechs, engage other infantry, and also add the weight to the game from that perspective. Air support. Now, this is where we're drawing combined arms a little bit, because if we go into full air support, that opens up additional rules that you might not be ready to play with, and your opponent might not have a way to counter it or bring their own air support, but you're going to want warriors. Warriors are low battle value attack helicopters. very fast, amazing for spotting, absolutely amazing for getting side or rear on vehicles and just chewing up motive hits. Very good at getting rear armor, very good at harassing light mechs. And for the battle value buy-in and the annoyance of hitting these things, you almost want mechs to shoot at them. Very, very focused. At least 2 of those, maybe even 4. Now, this seems like a lot, but the battle value is next to nothing. You've got your air screen. Just playing with that and building a battle value template from that that's going to be a tough list to crack. That's going to have a lot of combined arms supporting the mechs supporting the combined arms, and making sure you have all of the options in the game, Lrm carriers for indirect fire, spotters, put on the platform where it is the least vulnerable and the most focused.